Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Comic Book Nostalgia. I'm CB Nostalgia and with a bit of an update on DC Films. Well, us fans have been saying for the longest time that DC Films really needs their own Kevin Feige. For many fans, that guy was not Walter Hamada. And since David Zaslav and Warner Bros. Discovery have taken over the whole process and begun their 10-year plan, we've been wondering who that guy is. And now it appears we finally have an update on it, and it is a pretty interesting choice. Now, this report comes via The Hollywood Reporter. And as many of you know, the studio has been looking for their Kevin Feige type guy to reset the DC brand. And it appears that person will be Dan Lin. Now, if you don't know who Dan Lin is, that's okay. He's probably best known for producing major hits such as Aladdin, the Lego Movie, and It Part 1 and Part 2. He was also attached as the producer for George Miller's Justice League, DC's original return to cinema that ended up being canceled due to the writer's strike. But I want to be pretty clear, this has not been solidified as of yet. Negotiations are still underway and there might be a few hurdles that have to be overcome. He does have some deals and contracts with other studios, including some first look stuff. So I think all of that has to be resolved before the guy can finally take the seat. Should he take the job though, he would oversee both film and television, providing that unity that we have over at Marvel Studios now between TV and film that I really think DC could leverage and even learn some lessons from Marvel. Now I will say, one thing I like about Dan Lin is his enthusiasm. He actually did a recent visit to the Ankler podcast and they talked with him a little bit about DC. His quote was pretty interesting and I really wanted to highlight it. He said in the interview, DC is the one that got away. When I first started my producing career in 2008, I was producing Justice League with George Miller directing. Moving my family to Australia, I was going to have a very different life. And I was basically overseeing the DC franchise. That got away. It's why I wanted to make Lego Batman as my way of getting back at DC, but it was in a very different way. If I could have done the things I wanted to do at DC. Now, clearly the guy loves the DC universe and has been excited about being part of it for more than a decade now, but I think this enthusiasm and potential knowledge of the characters and the material could be something they leverage to success. Now, according to the trade, things behind the scenes are changing too, and there are some structural impacts to this. They're actually quoted as saying, the proposed structure would bypass 3 separate division heads, Warner Bros. Pictures heads Michael DeLuca and Pam Adby, HBO Max chief Casey Bloys, and Warner Bros. TV chair Channing Dungey, and put control of DC in the hands of one person. This is exactly what fans have wanted for a really long time, and I think taking this layer of management and meddling out of the middle of these DC films can only make it better. Now, the current head of DC Films is Walter Hamada, and he apparently is making an exit. There have been a lot of behind-the-scenes rumors that Hamada was pretty unhappy anyway, Batgirl was cancelled, and now that Shazam and Aquaman have been pushed, I think that's finally reached the point of no return. This is something many fans have already wanted to happen anyway, so I don't view it as a net negative, but I'm not an anti-Hamada guy. He's had some pretty big movies, including The Joker and The Batman, as well as Black Adam, both were great, so my complaints are kind of tempered. Now, as for Lin, he comes on board at a pretty tough time for Warner Bros. Discovery. There is a lot of blood in the water. The cancellation of Batgirl and the Wonder Twins, fans are pretty upset about Batman the Caped Crusader getting the axe, and we also lost Strange Adventures. Additionally, there have been layoffs spanning HBO and Warner Bros., and quite honestly, Michael Zaslav's refusal to publicly deal with the Ezra Miller Flash disaster has not gone over very well with fans, and the stock prices are showing it. I am very curious where Lin will take all of this. The idea that he was involved with George Miller's Justice League back in the day could be a clue. One way that DC could, and I quote, reset everything would be to do a Flashpoint event and then open with an universe-establishing movie, very much like the DC animated universe did with the Justice League series. That series kicked off with many heroes already existing and laid out the framework to deal with their history and backstory as the story progressed. This would allow them to do a New 52 style reboot, keep the actors they can keep under contract, recast whoever they need to recast, and then move the whole train forward with some sort of plan that even a Cylon would be proud of. Now obviously we're going to keep covering everything DC Films, and I know you want to know everything, so make sure you hit that like and subscribe button to make sure you get all the updates. But until we know more, what do you guys think? How do you feel about Dan Lin potentially taking over as the Kevin Feige at DC Films? And Do you think their reset should kick off with a major universe-establishing movie? I certainly do. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you hit like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you won't get any updates.